you're not here. We are going solo right now without Rick. But
No, you know what's also weird is when we're going solo and we can't see ourselves on the computer
you can't
screen
see the screen.
too.
Yeah.
We didn't even check cameras.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
I checked them.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, I stay on stage all the time. Like, there are times that...
What are you going to say?
No, that me and you, like, the way I write material, like, things happen, and then
this morning was like the gym joke? Is that where your brain is going?
Oh, my gosh, dude. So, this was one of those, and I'm like, okay, how do I turn this into a stand-up bit? It's like the fucking Twilight Zone. So, Renee's not feeling well, okay? Which, by the way, again... You know, learning as a male, living with a woman, having much more respect for women because you guys get so many UTIs all the time.
Thank
right?
you for telling them.
So you're not feeling well. You're welcome. We share everything. But you're not feeling well. So
Rick, I wish you were here so we could start over.
We're not starting over.
Why are you talking about this?
But who cares? People get them. So, Renee's not feeling well this morning. I'm doing my usual Tuesday morning routine, getting up, getting the kids ready, getting them out the door, doing my jiu-jitsu exercise or training from 9 to 10. And then Renee comes in because, well, of course, Garrett forgot his lunchbox this morning for camp. Yes. So anyway, I come in and I'm like, hey, Rick sent us a message that he's not going to be able to be here. We're going to run solo. When do you want to do it? And then you were like, well, I don't feel well. And I go, well, I suggest that why don't you shower up, get ready, and we will go get some medicine for you and an IV. I mean, we will do podcasting, and that way we're out of here sooner.
No, that's not what you suggested at first. That is not.
That's what I suggested.
Okay, finish talking. That's not what happened.
I said, feel better, shower up, podcast, and then that way we get to the doctor sooner than later. And then Renee goes, well, I want to work out. And then I said, well, you know, you don't want to be dehydrated, and working out is probably not a good idea because you're going to sweat. It's hot. It's 100 degrees outside. I go, probably not a good idea.
It's 106 degrees outside, I think.
I go, why don't we skip the workout and then do that? She's like, no, I want to work out. And I go, okay, I'm sorry to change the schedule. So I leave. And then 2 minutes later, I get a text message from her. Come here, can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah. I come over, she's like, can you just be patient with me? Because I don't feel well. And I said, yeah, I'm here to help. I got you. Then she goes, I want to skip my workout and go shower up and go do straight to the podcast. That way we can go to the doctor sooner. I'm like, is this the fucking Twilight Zone, dude? That's exactly what I suggested.
Okay, now do they get my version of the story?
Please, I would love to. I would love to hear your version of the story.
My version of the story is I woke up, I woke up fine, but then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I am not good. This is not good. This is bad. And I took Garrett because he forgot his water bottle in his lunchbox. I went and I took it to him to camp, and I stopped by CVS to try and get some stuff so I could feel better. And then I came, and then once I got back home, I was like, oh, still trying to muscle through it. And I'm like, I'm going to keep my day going. I'm going to be normal. I'm going to exercise.
Remember that joke I did about how long it takes her to tell stories? This is one of those.
But then I was like, okay, no. First, you came in and you were like, because we're flying without Rick. And so we can podcast anytime. Well, we also have family here. Your sister is visiting. She's got her grandkids over at the house to hang out in the pool. We did not send Delilah to school today so that they could stay home and hang out. So there's all kinds of stuff going on at the house today. So when Rick says you can podcast whenever you want, then it's like a real free-for-all, because it's like, well, what do you want to do it? And when can we get you to sit still? Because he does not sit still. So knowing all this was going on, I said I would still like to try and get a workout in, and then we'll knock the podcast out. And you said, okay, but you were annoyed because you were like, we can do it anytime. Why do you have to work out? Just shower and let's podcast, right? But I was like, well, you got your workout, so why can't I get my workout in? You got your hour in peace of sanity where nobody bothered you. Can I go on the bike for just a few minutes in all the chaos? That would be great. Well, I don't feel well enough to exercise. So then I called you back and I said, hey, can we just power through the podcast so I can get to the doctor? And you were like, yes, fine.
is you basically repeated exactly what I said.
No, I did
with
not.
more details.
Yes, because women don't add the important details.
There's
You
no
leave
important
those
details
out.
in that. What important detail did I leave out?
Never did you suggest from the top that we should just podcast and go to the doctor. You wanted me to you were like, take Advil and lay down in bed. And I was like, no, that is not going to help the situation that I have going on.
I said,
yes, you did say that.
I said that as an option. I said, or the other option is shower, take some Advil if which is for inflammation, or take Tylenol or Aleve for pain and rest. And then we do the podcast. But working out is not the smartest thing to do when you're feeling ill.
Yeah, but resting is not going to help for
So I also
UTI
gave
either.
that. I gave that as an alternate.
But you left out those important details. You were like pushing me to rest, and I was like, no,
I was not pushing you to rest. I said we can either go ahead and shout. Anyway, see what happens. See what Renae likes to redirect. Anytime me and Renae argue, what happens is I go, "Hey, this is what happened," and then
you see it your way,
and then
which
Renae
is usually incorrect.
And then Renae starts to go, "Well, let me tell you all the shitty things that you do," and then before you know it, we are no longer talking about her. We are now talking about me. And I'm like, wait a minute. How do we get from?
We're talking about you and your UTI.
I get them too. I don't know if I do. I don't think I get UTIs. But anyway, my point is that it's like I got to write a joke about the fact that it's. I brought you suggestions. You told me no, and then you called me back, and then you made it your idea. So when it's your idea, then it's a great idea. That is the point of this conversation.
Okay.
So I got to write a joke about that because it happened this morning, and I'm like, oh my God.
You should write a joke about
It's
that,
like the
Steve.
fucking Twilight Zone, dude. I just said that. And then she calls me back to tell me what I just told her. It's the fucking...
You should write a joke about that. It's really funny. It's really funny.
It is. You're laughing. You are laughing. I can tell it's funny because you're laughing and you fucking know, dude. Oh my gosh, this podcast.
Anyway, talk about your weekend. How was Cincinnati?
Cincinnati's always great. It was cool. I mean, Mark Sandoval was there.
I forget. It's not. Cleveland is the one that has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the cool downtown.
Yeah, Cincy's a really great time. I mean, but for me, it's like now I don't see much anymore because I'm flying in, showering, going to the shows, waking up, and then doing 2 more shows, and then I don't sleep Saturday night. I just come home. So there's really like Saturday during the day to do something.
Yeah, what'd you do?
And I went and watched The Flash. It was really good.
Yeah?
I really enjoyed it by myself, watching The Flash, just killing time. It was a beautiful day. I mean, I wanted to go see the Cincinnati Reds. They were playing at 3:30.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, man, if I do that, then by the time I get back,
cut it close to the show. No downtime.
It's cutting it close. But it was fun because Mark Sandoval and Laura were there with Laura's sister and brother-in-law. So they happened to be in town. So they came out, got to see them, and it's just like, it's so cool, man, to like, to think about the little town that we grew up in. Yeah. And the fact that I see so many people from our little town.
When you're out on the road.
Out on the road. And Mark and I are close. I mean, Mark and I got real close when he was living in L.A. Yeah. Going to his, the USC, when he was going to graduate school for his job. And I just love their story. The way they met and, so, unfortunately for Mark, he suffered a divorce. And then when he was in the Marines on Venice Beach, he thought, oh, I'm going to get a tattoo. You know the story, right?
I don't know if I know this story. I mean, I should. I'm sure I heard it at one point, but I don't remember it.
So when Mark decides, well, I want a tattoo, didn't know what he wanted, points at the wall and goes, put that on my arm.
Oh, that's right.
So
yes,
they put it on his arm. He just picked it randomly off the wall because he thought it looked cool. And
which the story says so much about Mark, too.
Right. Years later, Mark's sitting at a bar, shoulder out. And then this girl comes up to him and she's like, oh my gosh, are you from Cleveland? And he's like, no, I'm not from Cleveland. And she's like, so you're from Ohio? He's like, no, I'm not from Ohio. And she's like, oh, so your favorite team is the Cleveland Indians? He's like, I don't like the Cleveland Indians. She was like, well, why would you get a tattoo of the Cleveland Indian mascot on your shoulder if you're not a fan? And he had no idea. Sparks a conversation with Laura, and they end up happily married.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
Yeah. No, it's such a cute, funny story.
That could be a good book. Is to
a
have
good rom-com?
No, well, to have all these people kind of send in their random meeting.
How they met,
right?
That's sweet. Yeah.
Which I talk about all the time, man. Like, we had a bachelorette party, second show Saturday, I think. And of course, I give her some attention, and
Yeah. Were they all dressed in their matching
had the whole
gear,
thing,
and the bride is in
bride's
white
in her
with
thing,
the veil?
Little straw dicks, the whole thing, right? But I asked her, I was like, "How did you meet your husband online?"
Everybody nowadays,
and
Steve.
I don't want to sound like the old guy, but I'm like, I really cannot understand.
No, there's it's a generational thing too. You were like, if you did not meet online, it kind of dates you.
Almost everybody I meet that's younger, you go, how did you guys end up together? And like, oh, well, online.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, man. Like, I don't know. I guess that's how it kind of works now, but I don't know. I guess it sparks a conversation.
I don't
talk.
know.
I
I didn't do the swipe left, swipe right. But I don't know.
But road manager Timmy, he was like, man, he's like, I tried the online dating thing. He's like, it's terrible, But Timmy's 50, so he's like, dude, it's freaking terrible, and it's super uncomfortable, and you meet in person, and sometimes most times it doesn't go well, or it's only about sex.
Yeah, but you think of our nieces who are here visiting now, who are constantly glued to their devices, or Garrett, who straight thing when he wakes up in the morning wants to go for that tablet. We
have to fight them off of it.
It's a different way of communicating.
It's crazy, and now and
they've grown up communicating that way. This is a weird way for them to communicate.
To sit down and have a cup of coffee and have a conversation with somebody and get to know them, and I don't know. It's tough. And for us, there was we were familiar.
Yeah.
So we were introduced by your dad as we tell the story. But there was something really familiar about us right away because we grew up in the same town.
Yeah.
We have similar parents. So right away there was I kind of knew you.
But that still happens.
I was at your high school graduation. I watched you do your speech.
Yeah, but I think that still happens. That people, sorry, I have the chills. That
I did that to you, didn't
people talking about our love story. No, that people still end up with people that they grew up with.
Yeah, I think so. Well, or a mutual friend, or we met at a party because so and so. Tim and Clarissa, which is a weird one. They met because
they're cousin uncles, or we're cousins. What do you call
them?
So
my this get complicated. My cousin Kim married her husband. Her husband's sister was at the wedding. My other cousin Tim fell in love with
the bride's cousin. Was also at the
bride's
wedding.
cousin was at the wedding. He fell in love with the groom's sister.
There you go.
And they got married because they met at the wedding.
Yeah.
Well, now their kids are also cousins, but also share aunt and uncles.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Right? It's crazy.
There's a lot of family crossing.
And it's not incestual, but almost. But almost. But they met at a wedding.
Yeah.
So here's the heartbreaking part of this weekend. Several years ago, I met a comedian, really great guy, little older than me, really funny, but really smart. He's actually has a day job where he's an investment guy.
Have I met him before?
Yeah, you met him in Jacksonville. We all had drinks together in Jacksonville. Doug.
Okay, yes.
So
took me a second. I was like, Jacksonville. When were we in Jacksonville?
So he does comedy, but he also owns his own business, and he handles people's retirements and finance. He does very, very well for himself.
Yeah.
Well, his wife did not survive cancer, and because he has another job, they basically told him like, hey, she has only several months to live. So he just cleared his schedule, right? He just said, all right, I don't know what several months is, but I will be here for my wife and I will take care of her. And he did. He ended up literally having to take care of her as things got worse and worse. Yeah. And about 3 weeks ago, she passed. And he sent me a message and said, man, I have zero work lined up because I had canceled everything. Do you have anything for me? And I said, dude, absolutely. Come work with me in Cincinnati. And afterwards, Friday night afterwards, we sat down at the bar and had our drinks, and you just...
Do they have kids?
No, but you just see it on him. Like it's hard to explain. He's there and he's talking and he's hanging out.
He's trying.
But you just see it on him. And, at one point I thought, man, I should say something, Because
at that point you hadn't acknowledged.
No, we had talked about it a little bit, but I'm like, here's a moment. We're having a drink together. Yeah. It's just me and him. Here's kind of a moment to just, see if he wants to talk about it,
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, hey, man, I just want to tell you that, and of course I go, when I first saw him on Friday, I go, are jokes off the table? And he's like, no. He's like, we can joke around about it. Right? Yeah. He's like, we're comedians. That's how we handle things.
I was going to say it.
So we had joked about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And been funny with each other. And at one point I was talking to you and I go, ooh, I feel bad talking to my wife right now. And, we had a laugh, you know. But, here we are having a drink. And I thought to myself, man, I should try to be there for him, And I said, hey, man, I'm here. I said, if you want to talk, I'm listening. And he did. He goes, man, he's like, it's just terrible. He goes, he's like, I miss her and it's been rough. And he's like, I'm really trying to get over it, but I don't know if I can. And, thank you for getting my mind off of it this weekend and blah, blah. And I said, man, I said, dude, you gotta get focused into something else. I said, maybe, so his wife was actually, she was Japanese. And she was actually a third-degree black belt in a martial art.
Holy cow.
And he, for quite some time, it's the Korean version of jiu-jitsu. But I don't know what it is. Yeah. But him, for quite some time, he said that he got all the way up to blue belt where I'm at now, and then he just stopped. And at that point, I said, well, man, maybe like really dive deep into getting back into a martial art, getting healthy, blah, blah, blah. And then I just stopped. And I said, dude, I don't think I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I go, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I go, Doug, I honestly have no fucking clue what to say. I go, and I have no fucking clue what you're feeling or what you're going through. And I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I go, I have nothing to say to you. And he goes, no. He goes, this is great, and I appreciate talking about it. And he goes, it helps to talk about it. I go, yeah. I go, but I should not try to sympathize because...
Or not that you shouldn't try to sympathize, but what you were saying was try to give advice for how to overcome whatever he's feeling or
right, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And then I always, one of my tactics in life is I always try to put my feet in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
Right? I always try to take my feet, put them in somebody's shoes and ask myself, how do they feel?
Yeah.
Right? How would they feel if I did that to them? Right? How would they, so then I tried to put myself in those shoes and golly, Renae, like I can't imagine living life without you.
You don't want to think like that. Yeah.
And I remember my dad saying, I got to go first. I'm dying first. And I go, Dad, like chill out.
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, I just felt so like, and then the sadder part about all of it, which really reminded me of me and you, he has several jokes about his wife.
Uh-huh.
And that's a big part of his act. So in his act, he goes, my wife the other day. You know what I mean? So he still has to like
navigate that.
Like, well, how do I continue to talk about my wife, but she's gone?
Right.
And for me, if I were to lose you, I would quit.
No, you would not. No, you would not.
I couldn't do it. I would not be able to walk on that stage.
No, you love it too much. It brings you too much joy.
But what am I going to talk about?
You will find other things to talk about, like in that moment.
Sad widowed husband raising kids.
Well,
like,
no, but
come on,
like it happens to people, right? You always talk about how your comedy is relatable, and you take the mundane or the everyday, and
I don't know.
And you're really good at finding the humor in the crappy stuff. And so when you said that about him, I just thought, how great would it be if at some point he could find a way to make that relatable and find the humor in it somehow. I don't know how you do that.
I just, it was heartbreaking. And then, and again, I mean, he's probably 50.
Yeah.
But it still makes me think about your mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me think now that, I mean, we all know we're going to go, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know when we're going to go.
Yeah.
But the threat of cancer makes you really go, oh, it's a reality that I might end up alone.
Yeah.
Right? So also to sympathize with your mom and your dad to what they're going through and going, man, like your mom's so young, dude.
Yeah.
She's so young and she's I mean, it's, she has to deal with a lot.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but I was proud of Doug and Doug was great this weekend and he sent me a really nice message and he said, hey, thank you for the weekend and thank you for hanging out with me and thank you for the jokes. And, so I like to think that hopefully I was able to help. He's going to be with me in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
When I do Virginia Beach. So, he's going to do that one. He's going to do Charlotte, North Carolina. He's agreed to do that one.
When is Charlotte? It's coming up. When is that? The kids and I have never done Charlotte. That's why I'm asking.
Not for a while.
I think not for a while. Okay.
Charlotte's
we've never
a great
done.
town.
And I know a lot of New Yorkers are moving into the Carolinas, and that it's beautiful. So maybe we do that one with the kids.
Isn't Mia there?
Yeah, half and half. She's also in California. Yeah.
So I mean, ultimately, it was. I mean, I hope that I was able to provide. I don't know. I know that sitting at home doing nothing is got to be way worse than actually being out at a comedy club doing comedy.
Yeah.
So
well, I imagine they like talk about the stages of grief, but I just imagine it must be a roller coaster of emotions. And it's exactly what you said, like where you could see it on his face. I imagine he feels that way too. Like
not only could you see it, you felt it.
Yeah.
You felt it. You could feel his somberness. You could feel that he was not quite himself.
And like as a human, you have to know that's how you feel and that's the energy you're putting off too. So having someone who is willing to hang out with you anyway,
right.
without judgment of expecting you or without the expectation of you putting on a face.
Right.
It
was a tough one. But even like this house, Renae, like if I were to lose you, I'd sell the house. I don't think I could deal with going into that bedroom without you. I don't think I could deal with the reminder every day and all the great memories we've had in this home. Like,
yeah.
And so even Doug was talking about
that. But then you
that.
say that and you're like, all the great memories we had in this home. Then you sell that. I feel like you hear from a lot of widows, like the opposite. They just want everything to stay the same and they don't want to leave because
but that's a good note too.
Their memories are attached to that home.
That's a good note too. But you do have to move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do have to. I don't want to live my life in constant. I just want things to be the same, and this is where me and my wife lived, and the constant reminder.
Yeah.
Of man, this was our home.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, people can chime in on the comments, but I don't know. And look, God willing, it doesn't happen to us, right? Early and young.
Yeah.
But here I am talking about something that I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would react. I don't know how I would feel about any of it. So here I am talking about hypotheticals because it is so incredibly hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And what that looks like and how that goes down, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? But
well, it sounds like Doug is walking through it with grace.
He's a very intelligent guy. again, and you know, one thing he did tell me, he's like, I was already grieving and angry while she was alive.
Yeah.
He's like, she is going to pass in the next few months.
Yeah.
We don't know when.
Yeah.
So he said that it was the inevitable. So he was already like, I was already losing my wife.
Yeah.
So he's like, I was already grieving. I was already dealing with the emotions and you know, all the feelings of, and the reality of, are you going to cry?
Well, no, I mean, I was doing really good, and I was trying not to, because I feel like if we haven't had a guest, then it's been Renae crying on the podcast.
That's what I was going to say. We got to check how many times Renae's cried on the podcast.
But then you're the one, I know, I look like a big old crybaby, but then you're the one who brought up this conversation, and I'm like, holy hell, really? We got to do this one?
Well, no, because it was happening to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I was going through it. I was trying to be a good friend, you know, and I don't know, again, one of the reasons I love this podcast is because we are able to have this conversation, me and you, that normally I don't know if we would have had.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we would have had this conversation.
We would have been interrupted by, Mom, can I have this? And Mom, I need to pee.
Or the busyness of life or whatever, right? And I don't know. It's something worth talking about.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a great weekend. Sold out shows, you know, on Saturday. Friday was a little light. Friday, late show.
Yeah.
But the Reds were also on a 12-game winning streak. And again, like here I go to the movies. So where the comedy club is, it's beautiful. It's called Liberty Center. And it's a beautiful outdoor mall. We've been to 1 million of those in the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Because summertime, God, it's great to be out there, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of comedy clubs are in those
so
types
I walk,
of
yeah.
venues.
So I walk out of the hotel to go to my movie at noon, and there was thousands of people in the lawn, outside on the outside patios, live music. Everybody was outside. Yeah. Like hanging out. I walk in the movie. I'm the only person in the movie. Nobody wants to be indoors. Yeah. Right? So.
Meanwhile, you were so happy to get it. I'm like, that's what I'm like. When are we going to travel with you and go someplace that is not 106 degrees? It has been so unbearably hot.
I love it hot.
No, but not like this hot. This is so hot that like the kids can't even be out in the afternoon.
It doesn't bother me. I'm out there in the yard anyway. It doesn't bother me.
It's so hot.
The only thing that bothers me is that my grass better not burn. That's my only concern.
No, legit. But we talked about heat exhaustion last episode at Garrett's baseball game on Friday. Delilah started to have an episode of like heat exhaustion until we got one of those. Y'all, those cool towels are a lifesaver. Like that perked her back up and brought her back to life.
Literally a lifesaver.
Yeah.
You know. But I do want to give it up for our sponsors because we've been forgetting to do them kind of in the beginning. Yeah. Even though it's not the beginning. Aztec Chevrolet, thank you so much. We got to do a new commercial for them. So I need to get with the guys.
Are they still showing the old one?
Oh, and we can talk. Yes, they're still showing the old one. And we can talk about Uvalde Chevrolet. So if there's now Goliad has a dealership. Uvalde Chevrolet is Aztec Chevrolet as well. So now Texas, you have options. So Aztec Chevrolet, call them first, and then they will put you in touch with Uvalde. But Old Salt Coffee. Yes. Love it, love it, love it. Delicious. Trevino 10 is the code. Put it in there. Get your coffee delivered. Stop going to the grocery store. I will tell you, Renae and I do not go to the grocery store almost ever.
I know. Poor Delilah, she loves to go to the Children's Museum and play in the grocery store. And I looked at you. I told you, I was like, it's because we don't go to the grocery store.
Ever. We do curbside. Boom. Curbside. And then, of course, our friends at Cherries. We're so excited to be partners with those guys. And I miss them. We actually need to call Stu and see how things are going, and he's such a wonderful man. So please support all the things and all the people that support us.
We haven't seen him because you haven't been in Florida in a while.
We haven't been in Florida in a while, and
it's not on the calendar for a bit.
And life for us Treviños has gotten pretty chaotic with summertime, with your dad, with traveling. You know, it has become very, very chaotic.
I think as we approach like the middle of summer, all the parents are starting to feel like, okay, the children have been home.
Well, I was like, I'm so looking forward to summer. And then all of a sudden Garrett's like, well, I want to play flag football. I'm like, oh. So now I'm the coach at the flag football. And I'm like, I just want some evenings. My favorite part of this house is summer evenings. The cool breeze blows through the Texas hill country. Yeah. We get in the pool. We're just family. We're having a great time. And now it's like Garrett has something every freaking day.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. Other than that, great weekend. You?
Yeah. It was good. It was just, you know what? I was pretty angry with you on Friday because I was like,
Again?
we said Garrett was not going to play football. And now it literally, where they play, Steve, there is no shade, right? There's no shade. And I thought, oh, we're out of football season. I don't need the wagon. I don't need a stroller. Just me, Delilah. You know, we got our sunscreen and our bug spray. Our cooler with drinks, we're good. No, I got to go back to taking the wagon with the chairs because the
Did you bring her the neck fan? The neck fan's in there.
No, well, I didn't. I just I was not prepared for that heat and that field without legit no shade. Like occasionally a breeze would blow through and everyone was like, oh. But they played at 6:00. And it was still over 100 degrees. Those poor kids. I don't know how the boys don't pass out on the field because we were all under the shade. And then the way the sun is going down, like the canopies that all the parents did bring that we're all huddled under aren't even doing any good. I mean, it was
tough.
It was brutal. I was like, why are we playing football in the summer?
Well, I mean, look, I want to encourage things that Garrett wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm very, very firm on you are not playing tackle football unless you're the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because nowadays the quarterback's not allowed to be fucking sniffed. Like they're protected.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just my feeling because for those of you that don't know and you love your kid in football, that's great. And I encourage you to enjoy.
I mean, we live in Texas.
Whatever you want.
It's a big thing.
But for me, I broke my back in high school playing football, and it has been a painful life for me. And to me, it was not worth. Yes, I loved it. Yes, I love playing ball. But if you were to ask me, broken back for the rest of your life and football, I would go, you know what? I will pass on those memories, and I would have focused more on baseball or another sport.
But you love it when you talk about it and playing with your friends and like.
I loved it.
Joking about it, like you loved it.
I mean, I was good at it. I was a freaking animal out there. I wanted to kill everything and everybody. Yeah. I hit harder than anybody else, pound for pound, because I freaking wanted to kill people, and I loved it. I absolutely loved strapping on the helmet. But
you say that, and I'm like, and you ended up with a back injury.
Yep. But even when we're out there at the flag football, and I can smell the grass and the dirt, and Coach Chad has his whistle, dude, I'm coaching. I got a clipboard in my hand, and I'm like, I love it. I love being out here. I love the clipboard.
I love the clipboard.
I have that clipboard like a real coach. I got a clipboard out there. I'm freaking like with my plays, and I'm like, Coach, what are we doing, Coach Travis? Like, oh, y'all run. Like football's a completely different
energy.
Oh my gosh, it's completely different than coaching baseball. And I just can't wait for one of the kids to piss me off so I can throw my clipboard like my high school coaches was. God damn it, Trevino! God, boy, you're putting out somebody else's fire and your house is burning down, you big dummy! Like just yelling at me. They would always say that. Your house is burning down, boy, and you're putting out somebody else's fire. Stay home. I'm using them all out there with the kids. I'm using all the phrases and all the football shit.
The kids are probably so confused on the field. What is Mr. Trevino saying?
But I do love it, and I did love playing football, and that is one of my only heartbreaks was that I didn't get to play throughout my high school
because you got injured
because I got hurt, and there was these guys were all my friends, and we were all like brothers, and we were all very close because we played football together, every single year. And then when I couldn't play with them anymore, I could tell that they continued to be that group. And then I was kind of a wanderer after that. Like I'd still hang out with those guys, but it wasn't the same. So I do miss that brotherhood that I didn't get to see it through and have those great memories.
But as you say that, the thing that ran through my mind too is that's an important lesson to teach Garrett, because we were just talking about this week too how naturally with like him playing baseball and the travel baseball and the time and the commitment that you end up hanging out with those people. And we are very fortunate. We've said that we like have a great group of parents, but also that like just because you're on a team, that doesn't mean that those are your only friends. You know?
I agree with that, but it is hard because it's a relationship.
Yes,
Because
but
you
how
are now-
sad that you put so much value in that relationship.
No, but you are sharing experiences together.
Yeah.
Right? You share the same experiences. You're sharing the wins and the losses together.
Yes.
You know, when we lost that last tournament and did not win the championship, we came in second. You know, the boys were hugging each other. And the boys that were crying and sad and mad, the other boys were sad and mad but weren't crying, but were hugging on Garrett, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a different
Sorry, go ahead.
it's a real relationship.
Well, but I was going to say, but what you learned from your experience in playing football is that was not being communal in a sport was not enough of a relationship binder.
But it still was. I mean, you know, look how close Kyle and I are.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, anytime I see the Wildcats, man, we go nuts. So I still have that relationship. However, I wanted a stronger bond and a stronger relationship. I didn't get to have that.
Yeah.
So I do agree I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, you know, we're sitting here talking about, oh my God, it was so hot. Well, remember, I was doing 2-a-days in high school in August in Corpus Christi area, Gregory, Portland, in the heat, full pads, full helmet. And you know what I don't remember?
What?
The heat. I don't remember. The heat is not my memory.
Yeah.
Being out there fucking miserable hot. And back in those days, you know, God forbid somebody said, we're thirsty.
Yeah.
And then the coach would be like, oh, you're thirsty? We're about to be real thirsty. Start running. Right? So,
Yeah.
but I don't, the memories I remember is the brotherhood,
Yeah.
the hanging out together, the bus rides to the games, the bus
Yeah.
rides back,
Yeah.
the celebrations on the field. I don't sit there and go, oh God, but it was so fucking hot and I was miserable. I know I was, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Garrett's going to remember the wins and the losses and the camaraderie and the brotherhood
Yeah.
more so than oh God, it was 106 that summer. He's not going to remember that.
Yeah.
He's only going to remember, man, it was hot. I remember it being hot.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then you got me and the other coaches who all played ball, and we're like, you guys are complaining about heat? Are you kidding me? Yes, it's hot. I don't want to hear another word about it, you know. But again, at the end of the day, it is the memories that Garrett is growing. And I honestly hope that, you know, for his entire high school career till he goes to college,
Yeah.
that these are his really close friends.
Yeah.
And that they get closer because, you know, shit, we got in a fight every weekend. And we knew that the Wildcats had my back. We knew that we were brothers. And
So like, what's that movie, Varsity Blues? It's so Varsity Blues.
that's exactly how we grew up. You know that.
Yeah.
But I knew that they had my back and they were my brothers. And and to this day, you know, I run into several friends and they go, brother, you know, and we have that,
Yeah.
you know, thing. But, you know, I do want Garrett to have really close friends and having that conversation too of like, you can't force him to be friends with other kids when they don't have anything in common.
Oh,
You
no,
know what I mean?
no, that wasn't what I was suggesting. I was just saying that, like you said, you know, there are certain, like they say you have different friends based on phases in your life, you know, like when you become a new mom, there's definitely a shift in your friends. Just because you need certain things from your friendships, that changes. And I just think that, you know, you did lose some of your friends because you didn't play football anymore. So that doesn't always have to be the team does
Right.
not have to be what binds.
No,
your
sure, you know,
friendships or your
you know, Tim, my cousin, who was my best friend, and
There are other
like a
things that
brother.
make friendships
Tim played
valuable.
soccer. Tim didn't play football.
Yeah.
You know, Joey Sosa, he didn't play football. He played soccer. Very good
Yeah.
friend of mine. But I think some of the best advice my dad gave me was be nice and friendly to everybody.
Yes.
No matter who they are,
Yeah.
no matter where they're from. My
Yeah.
dad would always say, having lots of friends is very valuable. So I was lucky that, man, I was cool with the band.
Yeah.
I was cool with the drama kids. I was cool with the burnouts.
Yes.
I was cool with the punks. I was cool with everybody.
I agree.
So
and that's what I'm saying. That's
I
what
would
I'm
just,
saying
like,
is that
if one party fizzled out, I go find another one. I know the band's partying somewhere.
yeah.
I'll go find that one. Or so I was lucky I made friends with all groups and
Yes.
everybody, and that's something that I need to share with Garrett, that
Yeah.
you don't have to be best friends with these people, but be nice, be kind.
Yeah.
And Rocky was like that. You went to high school with Rocky.
Yeah.
And I shared that advice with Rocky, and it was funny because, before he got into high school, I told him that. I go, man, just be nice to everybody. Be friends with everybody. You'll have more fun.
Yeah.
Right? And then I remember years later, Rocky goes, dude, I took your advice. I was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And I did have more fun because I was able to join any group and whatever they were doing. And if my group, my core group wasn't doing anything, I'll go over here. I'll go there. Right?
Yeah.
So, we do have to share that advice with Garrett. And I do. I tell him, hey, be kind and nice to everybody. And like my dad used to tell me, be a bully only to the bullies.
Yeah.
He goes, a true man stands up and sticks up to bullies.
Yeah.
He goes, and if you were that man, then you are now the bully of the bullies. And now you let them know the way that you're behaving, I'll bully you because you're bullying him so that you can learn your lesson, right? So I always took that advice too, is that I would always stick up for the weaker.
Yeah.
Because my dad was like, oh, you want to be a real man? Then fuck with that guy, not that guy, So I've told Garrett that, plenty times, and I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
I saw him do it here. They were picking on Campbell, and then Garrett was like, you want to pick on somebody? Pick on me. And the dude was like, I'm good. And I'm like, not a boy, But you never know. I mean, you sit there and you say, well, I want to encourage this for my kids, or I want to encourage that. And man, as we've learned,
all you can do is encourage.
You just keep navigating, right? And they start finding their way and the things that they, there was a point where I didn't think Garrett was going to play baseball anymore.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago, he just wasn't that into it. And he was way more into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he was already asking me about, I want to go to jiu-jitsu tournaments. I want to do this and that. And I was like, sure. Like, if that's what you want to do. And then now all of a sudden he wakes up and everything is baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to watch baseball with me. He wants to play baseball in the yard. He wants a baseball room. I mean, he is everything all the time baseball.
Yeah.
But again, there was a moment where I thought and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you wanted to start doing, but I always tell him, whatever we do it well.
Yeah.
And we do it 150%. Because we're Treviños, we work hard and we never quit. And that's how we get ahead in life, by working hard and never quitting.
Yeah.
So whatever the fuck we do, we're going to work hard and we ain't going to quit. So I didn't care if he wanted to shift to jiu-jitsu and less baseball, or to football, whatever he wants to do, I'm there to but God, how funny is your sister?
Why? What?
When it comes to the topic of kids.
Oh.
Renee's sister, we've had the pleasure of having her here at the house.
It's been nice to help her. It's been little breaks for me and stuff with the kids when I just need to kind of run and do something.
No, Rebecca's great, and she has been a wonderful guest, and I love having her here. And they are moving on because they did buy a house, and but it was that in between from getting stationed in Japan to moving back here, and then her coming home earlier to be with her family.
And her husband's still in Japan.
Yes, but Rebecca, which by the way, what is her Instagram?
Oh, she changed
Pull it up.
No, it's on private because she's job hunting.
Oh, well, Rebecca is a professional. She made the pros in bikini fitness model.
Yeah.
So she is very, very in tune with how to work out and her food, and she's very
well. She's a physical therapist, but then she
Doctor
also has
physical therapy,
but then she also has training certifications too that she got as well, just to continue her studies.
So she's very smart when it comes to this, and actually she's been helping me out.
I did training.
Yeah, she's been helping me out. And my goal, one of the goals she set for me was to drink a gallon of water. And motherfucker, it's hard. I'm getting there. But,
What's the matter? Wait,
So anyway, no, it was just a conversation that Chief and I were having, but I thought something happened. So forgive me again.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, and we don't, you will not find white bread in our home. You will not find regular chips in our home. We do not have Doritos or Cheetos or any of that. You will not find that in our home. You will not find dip. You will not find, you know, the unhealthy snacks. We really try.
It's funny because when I hear you, it's healthier than our pantry, and our fridge is healthier than the way we grew up.
Yep.
I don't even know that I don't think I would say most people. I think you and I, our grading system is different there.
Well, no, but we're learning so much.
Yeah.
Here we thought veggie straws were good. Instead of eating Cheetos, I'll eat veggie straws.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, we'll get the baked chips versus the other chips.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca's like, garbage. She has this fucking
app that she scans.
Terrible. All right. But what's cool about the app, which I thought was fucking awesome, is it'll say, if you like those, here's the better version of that.
Yes. And the particular app, I can't even remember what it's called, but the particular app is on like cleanliness. It's not like eat this to lose weight. It's not about losing weight. It is grading food on like preservatives and known carcinogens and things like that are in our foods.
Anyway, so, you know, and like Garrett eats a hamburger on a lettuce bun because that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, so Garrett eats pretty healthy, you know, and it always blows my mind that Garrett will say, I want a donut. I know it's not healthy, so I will eat healthy my next meal. Like he at least.
Or Rebecca told him one time that a can of Sprite is the equivalent of 6 donuts, and he, for whatever reason, he remembers that factoid. So when he's having donuts or a Sprite, he, correlates that.
The point I'm trying to make is that Renae and I really try hard to, number one, introduce our kids to new and good foods. Number two, try to keep them healthy. And most of the time, it's, can I have Dino Nuggets?
Oh, we try, but it's hard.
Can I have
a
corn
hard.
dog?
It was easier when we lived in California.
I want pizza, right?
In California, like kids menus have quinoa on them and stuff like that. Not here in Texas.
So Rebecca, her sister goes, oh, when I have kids, they're only going to eat healthy. And I'm
no, she said they will not just be allowed to go into the pantry like yours, because our pantry door is open. There is no lock.
And Renae and I just looked at each other.
I actually have the stuff for the kids on the lower shelf so they can reach it themselves and they don't even have to ask.
Dude, Renae and I were like, good luck, motherfucker. Good luck. All the shit Renae and I said that we wouldn't do. Oh, we're not doing this and we're not doing that. And oh man, it is hard. And she is in for a.
But it has been a good reminder too. Like I remember going off to college and going to school with girls who like really had healthy eating habits and knew how to eat. And I just like, no one ever told me that, or no one ever bothered to explain that to me, and being like, how come no one did that?
Dude, when I was growing up, literally having a Coke and Cheetos was a snack. You know, you'd go to the convenience store and my dad would go, hey, get a snack. And I go, great. Cheetos, a Coke. I'm 9 years old, drinking a fucking Coke and killing a bag of Cheetos. Yeah. Because we didn't know any better. Yeah. Which later on you realize that, God, man, it makes it so hard as you get older to break
those habits. That's what I mean. So I feel like it is a good reminder. I mean, yes, like, I'm okay with the kids going in the pantry. But
even the smell of McDonald's is nostalgic for me.
Oh, no. Today, your sister picked up Whataburger for breakfast, and I hadn't had a chance to eat yet. And I walked in, and I was like, oh, my God, it smells like Whataburger. It smells so good.
But the taste of McDonald's and Whataburger is a nostalgic feeling.
Oh, for sure. The McDonald's French fries, the skinny, salty French fries, absolutely.
It reminds me of being a kid.
Absolutely.
And, it's that like, oh, I do eat this, But anyway, so I don't want to make this podcast too long for our friend Rick, but we love you guys, man. Thank you for the continued support.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I quickly read the comments from last week's episode, and everyone was so sweet and loving and supportive. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, and very quickly, to make this a longer podcast, I did want to address one of the comments because, I knew somebody was going to get upset when I said the Father's Day thing, where I said, ladies, stop trying to take Father's Day, right? So then a woman said, well, what about if you have kids and your spouse died, and I'm left with the kids, am I a father too, right? So my answer to that is that yes, if you are a single mother raising children, you sometimes have to put the dad hat on and teach those skills that you know are missing.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that, yes, you do have to go, hey, I have to raise these kids. How would my husband or a father handle this situation?
Right.
And put that hat on. Still does not mean that you're hijacking Father's Day. Does that make sense? You are still a mother having to put on,
Yeah.
And the same with me. If I were not to have you and I'm raising these kids alone, I would have to think, oh, how would my wife, a female, handle this situation versus just this situation?
Yeah.
Right? So you do have to be intelligent enough to try to wear both hats.
Yeah.
Right? So, and to any single mom out there, I've said it before, I have the utmost respect.
I do.
For any single mother that makes it on her own, raises good kids,
military moms
goes
who
to
have
work.
husbands gone for long stretches of time.
Nothing but respect.
Yeah.
Because when I am left alone with the kids and you're left alone with the kids, it is triple as hard. It is not double as hard. It is triple as hard. So any single mom out there raising children, God bless you, and you're amazing and good for you, and I have the utmost respect for you, especially the moms that are raising kids without any parents, in any husband in the picture.
Yeah.
And when I say that, like not receiving child support,
doing
it, paying the bills on your own, taking care of the kids I have the utmost respect for you as a single mom. Same for single dads.
Yes.
You're doing it alone.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to address her and tell her that, I do have the utmost respect for her. And yes, in your case, you do have to wear the dad hat. Still doesn't make you a dad.
I don't know if we're talking about the same comment, but I'm like, I think I read the same comment, and I don't think that's what she meant. I think she meant, if we're talking about the same comment, I think she meant, because you always give like such great dad advice, I took it as she was asking like, hey, what's your advice for those of us who the dad is not in the picture and there is no grandpa to fill in that role?
That's my advice.
How do we raise these? How do I raise this child to be a good man?
And that's exactly what I answered. I think is that sometimes you have to put on the other person's hat.
Yeah.
Right. And approach things from the other person's hat, and you have to say, okay, I've got a son. There are things. It's like Rick said. I didn't know how to swing a hammer. And I do things specifically to teach a lesson.
Yeah.
I don't have chickens because I want chickens. I have chickens because that is my way of giving Garrett some real responsibility. Yeah. Right? And to take care of these animals and to, hey, you have to go out there.
Although I just took him and our neighbor, little girl next door that has chickens in the coop too. I took him for froyo yesterday.
64 ounces.
I took him for froyo yesterday, and the bet was whoever did not finish their cup of froyo was going to have to clean the coop for 2 weeks.
So who has to clean it?
Garrett served himself way too much froyo after I told him not to, and she beat him.
That's awesome. Yeah. She's such a cool girl, man. We're so lucky to have great neighbors. With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you so much, and you should be drinking water.
I know. I finished mine in here, but yes, I need more water.
Love you guys. Till next time.